When a woman maintains eye contact with you and pairs it with genuine smiles and subtle signs like blushing, it's not just a coincidence or casual behavior. It's often a deeply instinctive and subconscious indication that she feels drawn to you. Eye contact, while simple on the surface, is one of the most ancient and profound forms of communication that humans use to signal attention, emotional interest, and desire. When a woman looks at you and holds that gaze for longer than a second or two, she's sending you a quiet message. It means that in that moment you have her full attention, and your presence is evoking something emotional or stimulating in her mind. It's the difference between how she glances at everyone else and how she looks at you. If her eyes linger just a little longer, she may be evaluating you on a deeper, more intimate level. It's not just seeing, it's observing, watching, and absorbing. Her mind might be playing out small fantasies or wondering about your life, your thoughts, or how it might feel to be closer to you. Along with prolonged eye contact, her pupils might dilate slightly. This is something most people don't consciously notice, but it's a powerful biological response. Pupil dilation happens when the brain signals heightened interest or arousal. If you can catch this subtle change, it's like reading a hidden code from her body that reveals what she's truly feeling but might not be ready to verbalize. Another layer of this nonverbal cue is blinking. If she blinks more frequently than usual, it could be a sign of nervousness or excitement. Her body is reacting to your presence in ways she may not even understand fully herself. It's her instinct bypassing logic. Now consider what happens when she combines that eye contact with a smile, especially a real, warm, and sincere smile. A genuine smile isn't just a polite formality. You can spot a real one by the small crinkles at the corners of her eyes, the way her cheeks lift, and the exposure of her teeth. These elements are involuntary. When they happen together, it means the smile is rooted in actual happiness or emotional pleasure. If she smiles at you this way right after making eye contact, it's not an accident. That's a deeply human response to someone who's triggered joy, interest, or comfort within her. And if she does it repeatedly throughout your interaction, especially when you speak, share ideas, or even when she catches your gaze from across the room, it's a strong sign that she not only notices you, but likes what she sees and feels in your presence. There's also a form of eye contact that's broken and then resumed quickly. For example, if she looks at you, then looks away for a moment, only to glance back at you shortly after, it might indicate a mix of attraction and shyness. It's her emotional defenses at play. She may not want to appear too eager, but she can't help checking back to see if you're still looking. That flickering attention, looking away, then back again, creates a soft emotional tension, a dance of curiosity and desire playing out silently between your eyes. And when this back and forth eye contact is paired with a flushed face or visible blushing, the message is even clearer. Blushing is a physical reaction to increased blood flow, typically triggered by emotional arousal, embarrassment, or excitement. If her cheeks become rosier, especially while talking to or looking at you, it's a giveaway that she's emotionally stimulated by your presence. Sometimes the lips also play a role in this unspoken attraction. If her lips turn a subtle pink or red, it can be an indicator of arousal or romantic interest. This isn't necessarily from lipstick. It's a real physiological reaction tied to the same processes as blushing. Even the way she smiles with her lips can offer clues. A closed lip smile might be polite, But when she smiles widely with parted lips and slight teeth exposure, that's warmth, that's connection. She's letting her guard down and opening up, even if only through a smile. The frequency of her smile matters just as much as the quality. If she consistently smiles at you whenever you speak, or simply when she sees you enter a room, it's likely that your presence lights up something in her emotionally. These moments might seem small or trivial to you, but for her, it's the body's way of signaling approval, interest, and a willingness to engage. Think about how rare it is to genuinely smile at someone without a real emotional stimulus behind it. If she's doing it multiple times, especially when there's no clear reason to, that's her subconscious telling her, and you, that something feels good about this interaction. Moreover, smiles paired with light giggles or laughter at things you say, even those that aren't overtly funny, suggest she's trying to deepen the bond. When someone likes another person, their brain naturally finds that person more entertaining, more engaging, more emotionally stimulating. Her laughter may not just be a reaction to humor, it might be a reflection of how much she enjoys the sound of your voice, the way you express yourself, or even just being near you. These silent physical signals, prolonged eye contact, sincere smiling, blushing, lip color changes, giggling, are a woman's way of expressing vulnerability, attraction, and emotional curiosity without having to say a single word. Most men miss these cues because they're too focused on words, or because they're not trained to recognize the deep, often involuntary language of the body. But these signals, layered one on top of the other, paint a clear picture of a woman who is, in that moment, emotionally invested, attracted, and quietly hopeful that you notice it too. When a woman initiates conversations with you and consistently works to keep those interactions alive and flowing, she's doing far more than just passing the time or being polite. She's sending out intentional, meaningful signs that she finds you interesting, appealing, and worthy of her attention. Most people underestimate just how much mental and emotional energy it takes to start a conversation with someone, especially if that person is someone you're attracted to. For a woman to repeatedly go out of her way to strike up dialogue, it shows that your presence holds a certain weight in her life. Whether it begins with casual comments, open-ended questions, or even humorous observations, the mere fact that she reaches out verbally is an invitation, an opening for you to connect with her on a deeper level. She's saying, without directly saying it, that you're someone she wants to engage with, someone she wants to understand more fully. It doesn't stop at initiation. The effort she puts into maintaining and deepening the conversation speaks volumes about her level of interest. She's not just speaking to hear herself talk. She's consciously or subconsciously shaping the dialogue in a way that keeps the two of you emotionally aligned. She might bring up topics that she knows you're passionate about, not just because she finds them fascinating herself, but because she knows it gives you a platform to express yourself, to shine in her eyes. She's trying to give you room to open up, to reveal parts of yourself she's curious about. And when you notice that she circles back to things you've said in previous conversations, recalls small details about your life, or asks for your opinion on things you've casually mentioned, understand that this is her way of saying, I listen when you speak because I care about what's going on in your world. Women who are interested don't let conversations fade into awkward silence or quick goodbyes. Instead, they find clever, often subtle ways to extend the interaction, whether it's through follow-up questions, sharing something personal in return, or shifting the topic just enough to keep things flowing without making it feel forced. If you find that she's engaging you with consistent energy, that she's not checking her phone, not looking around the room, but staying mentally present with you, that's a sign that she's valuing the emotional and intellectual space you're sharing. She might even repeat your words or mirror your tone to create a rhythm between you, a conversational harmony that feels effortless but is actually rich with intention. Her willingness to be vulnerable in conversation is another sign to look for. When a woman begins opening up, talking about her past, her dreams, her fears, or her opinions, especially without being prompted, it's a gesture of trust. It shows that she believes you're a safe place, someone who will not only hear her, but also hold what she shares with care. And if she laughs easily during your interactions, not out of politeness, but with a natural, relaxed tone, it's another layer of that connection. Laughter, especially when it's shared repeatedly, creates a feedback loop of emotional bonding. It makes each moment feel more enjoyable and memorable, strengthening the bond in subtle, powerful ways. Even the frequency and timing of her conversations matter. If she's reaching out to you during different times of day, whether it's a quick text in the morning, a comment in passing at work, or initiating a chat late at night, it suggests you're not just an afterthought. You're a part of her mental landscape, someone she thinks about even outside the usual social moments. If she checks in with you, even with something as simple as "How was your day?" or "Did you see that thing we talked about?" that's not small talk. That's her way of saying you're important enough to stay connected with. Another sign is when she shares information that invites further dialogue. She might mention a show she's watching, a book she's reading, or a place she's planning to visit. Any topic that opens the door for more back and forth. These are not random mentions, they're purposeful. She's planting seeds for future conversations, building bridges that allow the two of you to return to familiar, shared ground later. It's a pattern of investing in continuity, of nurturing a conversational thread that weaves the two of you together more tightly over time. Lastly, when she transitions conversations into more personal territory or expresses interest in your internal world, what you think, what you feel, how you experience things, it shows she's not just interested in surface-level interaction. She wants to emotionally sync with you. Her curiosity is genuine. Her attention is focused. Her efforts are deliberate. She's not just talking. She's choosing you as the person with whom she wants to build a conversational and emotional connection. Teasing, when done with warmth and playfulness, becomes one of the most intricate and emotionally intelligent forms of flirtation, especially when it comes from a woman who is trying to build a deeper bond with you without explicitly stating her feelings. Many men misunderstand or completely overlook this behavior, assuming it's either just light humor or random joking. But in reality, when a woman teases you in a subtle, emotionally engaging way, she's often expressing attraction through a carefully crafted mix of vulnerability, emotional testing, and desire for connection. This isn't the kind of teasing that's meant to wound or mock. Rather, it's a soft, emotionally charged dance where she pushes and pulls your attention to test how you respond to her energy. Teasing becomes a form of emotional exploration by lightly poking fun at you, playfully challenging your statements, or joking about something you've said or done. She's testing how you react. Can you take a joke? Do you respond with confidence? Do you tease her back? It's not about putting you down. It's about gauging your ability to play along, to share the moment with her in a way that feels intimate and personal. If you notice that she often finds playful ways to disagree with you, mock your quirks in a humorous way, or give you nicknames based on something unique about you, it's not by chance. She's trying to create a shared language, a private emotional space where both of you feel free to be lighthearted and expressive. Sometimes, the teasing may take the form of mock arguments. She might challenge something you said, not out of genuine disagreement, but to spark some tension and see how you hold your ground. This emotional tension, when it remains respectful and playful, can be incredibly attractive. It shows that she's confident, engaged, and comfortable enough to interact with you in a way that blurs the line between humor and affection. If she's laughing at your jokes while throwing in her own sarcastic comments, or if she pretends to be offended by something minor you said just to see how you'll respond, that's part of the dynamic she's trying to create. It keeps the energy alive, it builds emotional contrast, it's a form of controlled risk where both people let down their guard but in a way that feels safe and flirtatious. Her tone during these moments is also crucial. If her voice softens, if there's a sparkle in her eye or a slight smirk on her lips while she teases you, those are signs that it's not about the words themselves, but the emotional message behind them. She might tease you for being too serious, too confident, too slow to catch on, but in every case, the teasing is layered with emotional warmth. She wants you to feel noticed. She wants you to feel interesting. She wants to stand out in your memory, and if she responds positively when you tease her back, laughing, blushing, or teasing you in return, that's an incredibly strong indicator that she enjoys the emotional rhythm the two of you are creating. It's her way of saying, "We're in this emotional game together. We're building chemistry." That kind of mutual teasing creates a unique, almost magnetic bond, where both people feel emotionally energized and seen. She may even escalate it by bringing up earlier jokes you've shared, continuing the tease across different moments, which shows that the interaction isn't fleeting. It's memorable to her. What's more interesting is how women use teasing to test emotional safety. If she's willing to tease you, she's showing that she feels emotionally secure with you. Teasing involves a level of trust because it always carries the risk of being misunderstood. So, if she consistently engages in playful back and forth banter with you, she's essentially telling you that she feels emotionally safe enough to take those risks. That kind of interaction requires courage, and it's her way of inviting you into a more emotionally rich connection. There's also the push-pull dynamic often embedded in teasing. One moment she might playfully insult your taste in movies, and the next she compliments your style or smiles in a way that neutralizes the jab. This unpredictability keeps the interaction alive and dynamic. It builds suspense. It keeps you engaged, and more importantly, it gives her a chance to emotionally experiment. She can playfully challenge you, then quickly soften the moment with a compliment or kind gesture. That balance of friction and affection mimics romantic chemistry, which is why it's so powerful. Sometimes, teasing can also take on a slightly mischievous or competitive tone. She might play games with you, mentally or verbally, where she challenges your assumptions, your decisions, or even your self-image in a humorous way. She might call out a contradiction you made in a past conversation or mimic something you said in a funny voice. While it seems like just comedy on the surface, what she's really doing is saying, "I know you. I've been paying attention to you. I care enough to engage with your personality and provoke a reaction from you." Teasing also builds emotional intimacy over time. As you both engage in more of these interactions, your relationship develops an unspoken shorthand, a pattern of familiarity. She'll start to learn what makes you laugh, what pushes your buttons, what brings out your playful side, and she'll start tailoring her teasing to fit that. It becomes personal, it becomes emotionally textured, and each time you both successfully navigate these moments, laughing together, challenging each other, and coming out closer, it reinforces the idea that you're emotionally compatible. In the end, teasing isn't about power or superiority. It's about emotional closeness wrapped in playfulness. When a woman teases you with wit, affection, and a sparkle in her eye, she's not just being funny, she's telling you she's emotionally invested, that she wants to engage with you in a deeper, more nuanced way. And the more she teases, the more she reveals her comfort, her affection, and her desire to build a bond that goes beyond surface-level attraction. When a woman chooses to get physically close to you or engages in subtle, casual forms of touch, she's not just doing so randomly or out of habit. It's often a powerful, instinctive expression of romantic or emotional interest. Touch, in its most organic form, is one of the deepest and most primal forms of human communication. Long before we had words or defined gestures, we used proximity and contact to express everything from affection to trust to vulnerability. So when a woman leans in a little closer than necessary, sits next to you even when there's plenty of space around, or finds soft ways to make contact, whether it's brushing her hand against yours, touching your arm during a laugh, or adjusting something on your shirt, these are not meaningless acts. They are filled with emotional subtext that speaks volumes about how she feels. One of the most overlooked signals is the kind of physical distance, or lack thereof, she maintains. If she constantly chooses to stand or sit closer to you than social norms require, she's subtly inviting you into her personal space. It means she doesn't just feel safe around you, but actually wants to be near you. That physical closeness often stems from an emotional closeness she's either feeling or trying to build. Think about it. In crowded places, people naturally try to preserve their personal bubble. But when a woman intentionally places herself close to you in an uncrowded room or takes a seat next to you when other seats are available, she's saying, without words, I choose your presence. It's deliberate. It's quiet and it's meaningful. Now, consider the small, almost imperceptible touches that might happen in conversation. Maybe she taps your arm to emphasize a point, or casually places her hand on your shoulder when laughing. These touches often seem so natural that most men ignore their importance, but they're frequently premeditated in a subconscious way. They represent a woman testing the emotional waters, seeing how you respond, and expressing comfort and openness. She might brush lint off your shirt, fix your collar, or tuck a loose thread back into place. These gestures may seem trivial on the surface, but they communicate nurturing, attention to detail, and a desire to care for you. She's not just making sure you look neat, she's also looking for a reason to touch you in a way that's socially acceptable but emotionally charged. Some forms of touch are designed to appear accidental, but they're not. For example, if she allows her leg to gently press against yours during a conversation, or lets her arm rest near yours just long enough to make contact, she's doing something very deliberate. These subtle, prolonged touches are off, a way of reinforcing physical and emotional connection. It's as if she's trying to say, I want to feel close to you without making it overly obvious. These forms of contact are careful, intentional, and loaded with meaning, especially if they occur more than once. The way she positions herself in a group can also reveal a lot. In social settings where there are other people around, If she frequently orients her body toward you, leans in when you talk, or directs her attention to your side of the room, it's a powerful indication of where her emotional and physical focus lies. Even if she's engaged in conversation with someone else, if her torso, feet, or head are tilted toward you, that body language signals interest and openness. Her subconscious is pulling her toward you. She may also find opportunities to touch you that don't necessarily require contact. For instance, complimenting your watch and then touching your wrist to look at it, or brushing something imaginary off your shoulder. These are not flukes. They're micro-actions designed to gauge your comfort level and build subtle intimacy. One particularly telling form of touch is mirroring. If she begins to unconsciously mimic your gestures, crossing her legs when you do, leaning back when you lean back, or adopting a similar posture, it's a sign of comfort, alignment, and emotional resonance. But mirroring doesn't stop with posture. It can also extend to physical contact behaviors. For example, if you gently touch her elbow while talking, and she responds with a light touch on your arm shortly after, that's a synchronized response. She's engaging in a kind of tactile dialogue with you, where each touch becomes a form of communication and mutual approval. Also worth noting is the way she reacts when you initiate physical contact. If she welcomes your touch, smiling, leaning in, or lightly touching you back, it's not just a green light. It's a sign that she craves the same kind of closeness. She may even exaggerate her physical responses slightly to make sure you notice. Maybe she laughs a little louder or places her hand on your knee for a second longer. These aren't random extensions of a moment. They're carefully placed indicators that say, I feel connected to you, I trust you, I want to share space with you. Touch can also manifest in moments of care. Maybe she hands you a napkin when you spill something, adjusts your scarf when it's crooked, or makes sure you have enough space to walk comfortably beside her. These kinds of physical gestures, though seemingly mundane, are rich with emotional content. They represent concern, attentiveness, and investment in your comfort. She's telling you, through her actions, that your well-being matters to her, even in the smallest of ways. In emotionally intimate settings, such as one-on-one conversations or private moments, the frequency and intensity of her touch may increase. She may find excuses to hold your hand, place her hand on your chest when making a point, or playfully push you when joking. These physical actions often mirror her emotional openness. The more comfortable she feels with you emotionally, the more likely she is to express that comfort physically. Touch is also a gateway to emotional memory. When someone touches you during a meaningful or joyful moment, that feeling becomes imprinted in your brain. If a woman is seeking to build these kinds of emotional memories with you through consistent, warm, and gentle contact, it means she wants to be remembered. She wants you to associate her presence with comfort, joy, excitement, and connection. Each time she reaches out physically, no matter how small the gesture, she's embedding herself into your experience of the moment. Ultimately, the way a woman uses physical closeness and touch tells a deep story about her emotional availability, her sense of safety with you, and her desire to build a stronger connection. These acts are rarely random or meaningless. They are deliberate expressions of warmth, curiosity, trust, and a growing desire for intimacy. Understanding this language of touch allows you to see beyond words and into the subtle, powerful reality of what she truly feels. When a woman begins to show genuine interest in your life, hobbies, passions, and experiences, it's not just small talk or politeness. It is often one of the clearest and most authentic signals of deeper emotional investment. Most men overlook how profoundly meaningful it is when a woman not only asks about your life, but listens carefully, remembers details, and engages in the things that matter to you. When she does this consistently, she is not simply trying to fill the silence. She's building a bridge toward understanding you on a personal, emotional, and even spiritual level. She is saying, in her own quiet way, you matter. What you love matters. I want to know more about you because I care. One of the most telling behaviors is curiosity, real, focused curiosity about what makes you come alive. If she asks about your favorite activities, your goals, your childhood memories, your daily routines, or even your